Gaasbeek from the Dutch Product Board of Horticulture, and I will tell now a little bit more about the tool and the protocol we developed to calculate the greenhouse gas emission for horticulture products. But first let me explain what the Product Board for Horticulture is. We are a partnership between employers and employees with the aim of strengthening the Dutch horticultural sector. The Product Board promotes all the collective interests of all businesses within the horticultural sector. A few years ago, businesses, producers and traders within our sector started to get questions about their carbon footprint. And it soon became clear that it was essential to get reliable carbon footprints for horticultural products. So in 2006, we started with the development of a protocol and later on a tool to calculate uniform, generally accepted and reliable carbon footprints for horticultural products. As Helene already mentioned, this was in line with the PAS 2050 and based on the international guidelines of IPCC. But most of our insights we gained from 31 case studies we conducted. These case studies were selected on the basis that they should give new insight of the composition of the greenhouse gas emissions and on methodological issues. So what if there are differences in land use? What does that mean for the greenhouse gas emission? Combined heated power, what does that mean for the methodological choices? But also the cases needed to be different in cultivation techniques. So organic cauliflower, conventional cauliflower, but also from different countries, such as pineapples from Costa Rica or roses from Kenya. This is an overview of the 32 cases we conducted, and this shows the relative greenhouse gas emission of the different cases. Well, as you can see, it shows really good the distribution of the greenhouse gas emission through the value chain. And more important, what are the major and the minor contributors to the greenhouse gas emission? For example, for Phalaenopsis, the biggest greenhouse gas emission is in the cultivation. While for roses in Kenya, this might not surprise you, it is in the transport. But for green beans, it's not in the cultivation, but it is in the processing and the materials. Well, we developed a protocol, and I don't know if you're familiar with protocols, but they can be quite complicated, and especially even quite daunting for the several businesses in our sector. Our aim as Product Board was to make it carbon footprinting accessible. And we wanted to give even smallholders the opportunity to calculate their carbon footprint in an easy and accessible way. That's why we developed an internet tool. It's unfortunately in Dutch. You see it's on the internet, on our website, but luckily at the moment only Dutch traders and producers are using it. With this internet tool they can fill in all their data and then they get their global carbon footprint, and also they can look into the different cases we have done. At the moment I think there are about 300 products in the tool. And you can see it really gives a really good idea of what does a different cultivation method do with your carbon footprint. Maybe interesting for the question about the differences in greenhouse gas emission for agricultural products. Here it shows lettuce, but also in different weeks. And the first one is lettuce in week 39, and in the middle is the same lettuce, only in week 47. So this already shows the big differences only a month can make in the carbon footprint of horticultural products. And it also shows the hotspots within the value chain. For example, where is the biggest emission? If we want to do something about our carbon footprint, where can we make the biggest difference? For example, if we start to use organic manure, what does that do with my carbon footprint? Or if I start to use glass instead of plastic as packaging, what does it do with my carbon footprint? We now start to hear sound from our sector that there's a need for a harmonized process. I think, well, everybody mentioned it again, but there are still discussions on methodological issues, and there are a lot of initiatives, but they're often not well tuned up with each other. This gives differences in procedures, but even more important, it gives differences in outcome. A tomato can have 20 different carbon footprints. They're confused. They're often smallholders. They can't afford to participate in different standards. So there's a need for agreement on methodology so that they can focus on reducing their carbon footprint instead of wondering how to calculate their carbon footprint. At the moment, we're trying to raise awareness within our sector about the availability of the tool and the availability of the protocol, but also about the complexity of calculating carbon footprints and the relevance. What does the carbon footprint they have calculated mean? And where can they improve and steer their carbon footprint? For that purpose, we're organizing several workshops. Tomorrow is another one, and we're just putting everybody together in a room, and they calculate their own carbon footprint. And this gives really good insights for us from what are they still missing in the protocol, and well, it makes them aware of the possibilities. And secondly, we're trying to tune in with other international initiatives so that together we can come to an international accepted methodology to calculate the carbon footprint for horticultural products. Well, thank you.